It's the Riot Podcast. This is the Thursday, October 5th edition. Good show today. We talk Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift as per usual. We also talk about teaching mating dynamics in college near the end. You're going to want to stick around for that. But first, I want to let you know that 1 week from today at Burger King, a bunch of changes are coming. October 12th. They have their new Ghost Pepper Chicken Fries to go along with their Ghost Pepper Whopper. They're going to be doing their own answer to McDonald's, where McDonald's has, the Happy Meal buckets for Halloween that have been very popular. Burger King's doing their own version of that. That's not as good. And then they also are going to let you go halvesies on your sides, where you're going to be able to not have to make the difficult choice between onion rings and fries. You'll get half and half of both. You excited about that?
I like that idea. I think it's a good idea.
I agree. I like the idea. Sometimes it's a very difficult choice to make. Now, Burger King, it's a difficult choice to make because I don't like anything they make.
Why are you so... Burger King is good, dude.
Their fries are so bad.
They're good.
That's the worst thing about Burger King is the fries.
The best things, I think their burgers, their Whoppers, as good as any fast food sandwich.
It's okay. But it's not good enough to get me there. But I would like other places.
It's cheap, too. You want to talk about 10 nuggets for $1.29?
Yeah.
It's a great place.
So that's...
And the other thing about Burger King is people always like crap on Burger King for it being slow, right? But the reason for that is because they're the only fast food restaurant willing to do onion rings. You want to know why they're the only one that does onion rings? Because onion rings take a long time to make. McDonald's, Wendy's don't do onion rings because it takes a long time to make. So if you want to take the onion rings away from Burger King, they'll be faster. And so if you order onion rings, know it's going to take longer. That's a little fast food hack for you. That's why not everywhere does them. Very few places do onion rings because they take longer to make.
Interesting.
They just came out with a big thing about McDonald's the other day, talking about why they don't do onion rings.
Yeah.
It's because they're about fast, being quick. Burger King, they want to give you the onion rings.
I like onion rings, but I don't like them enough to be upset that Wendy's doesn't have them. RadioU, we haven't started doing commercials, although you could be fooled by Isaiah right now with his Burger King love. I was going to say, if there's another restaurant that would let you do halvesies on the sides where you have a tough time deciding between two, can you think of one?
Well, obviously McDonald's, they don't do onion rings. They only do fries. Because everywhere else only where it does fries.
A lot of other places only do fries.
So what would you go halvesies on? Let's think of one.
The one that came to mind was Arby's. Where many times I go to Arby's and I only order sides anyways because their sides are so good.
So you think you're getting Mott sticks?
Mott's and curlies.
That is not going to be a thing.
Sticks and curlies. It should be.
Because the Mott sticks are so expensive.
Yeah, they are expensive.
That's like getting fries and chicken nuggets and half of that at McDonald's.
And it's tough to... What about this one, though? You love this place. Culver's. Yeah.
Cheese curds. That's the first one that came to mind for me.
Curds and crinkle fries. Curds and crinkles.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, I think they could get some mileage out of that for sure.
Yeah, Culver's could. That'd be a good one. And when you go to Burger King, you sometimes you get an onion ring anyway. So they just toss one in there, which is always a good little thing for
now,
me.
The skeptic in me too, and I know there's probably other people thinking this too, is that because they put them in the same little cup,
it's going to be less.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You're getting less, and you're paying a premium to just have both.
Is it the same price?
I think it's at $1.29.
Okay, so that's the same price as their fries or onion rings. I think for me, it could be worth it because I always want to. I don't need a full bag of onion rings from BK, but I'm down to have a couple.
That's true.
I don't want all of them, but I'll have a couple, and then I still want the fries.
There's always more onion rings in a little serving than you actually think you want. Yeah. You know who else has onion rings? It's White Castle.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I'm not up with White Castle. I liked...
And it's not going well for them.
I liked White Castle's breakfast a lot. Like, really good when we tried it the other day on the show.
Yeah.
But I've never really gone there for lunch. I need to try it. I need to try the sliders.
I don't know if you do. I don't know. I mean, White Castle's okay. Better than Burger King.
Better or worse than Steak and Shake?
Steak and Shake's better food. White Castle's cheaper. And faster.
10 sliders for $8.99.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
I don't hate White Castle. It's just I would never go out of my way to go there. Well, anything? You don't have anything to add? We should move along. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a great day.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Only Murders in the Building closed out the season 3 earlier this week on Hulu. You watched that one, Isaiah, with Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez. Might be the reason for you to watch. Meryl Streep.
Haven't seen
in the new season. Haven't watched an episode, have you?
Haven't yet, but this seems like something I could get behind.
It's a good show.
This is a good timing for the drop.
Why do you say that?
Because we're near Halloween.
Ah, yes, with the murder. Yes,
the murder part of the Only Murders in the Building.
Well, people get murdered all year round.
Yeah, but this is Halloween, so murders mean a little bit more.
When murder's on the brain for a lot of people. Only Murders in the Building. If you haven't seen it, the idea is it kind of, at first, in the first season, it really plays off of the true crime podcast kind of phenomenon. Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez. There's a murder in their building, thus the name, and then they kind of work together to solve it. And then as in the following 2 seasons, they continue to find out about people getting murdered in their circle of friends and sphere of whatever. And so they have to solve it. Season 3, just the finale premiered earlier this week, and they've already alluded to that season 4 is coming back. They're going to make another one. Somebody died again at the end of season 3. But here's what I wanted to point out. Me and my wife have been watching this together. Would this make you feel good or bad if you're watching like a show like this with somebody and they predict accurately who the killer is in the very first episode? Because that's what my wife did.
Well, she's good.
She's good. She should be a detective.
Obvious?
No. I was telling her the whole time, I was like, there's no reason to believe it's this person. And then that's just what the show wanted you to think.
Is she, you know what I hate? And I went through this a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
Is she like a, let me look ahead?
No, she did not look ahead.
Let me Google ahead.
Although, like after
it seems like she might have. And she might not have told you.
No, she figured it out after one episode. She didn't even know the person's name, but she's like, it's this one. And I had somebody else I'd picked out. I was dead sure I was right.
Clearly you weren't.
I obviously wasn't. We did not agree. She was right. We did, like before the last episode, we had looked up what some of the theories online were. And there was, so that supported her thought
claim,
process.
Yeah.
But to her credit, after watching the finale and being proven right from, I mean, what is this? This is 10 episodes. 3 months ago, she figured this out. She did not play it up like I would. If I had guessed the killer correctly, it's all I would be talking about right now. To everybody I knew.
Dang, if you came on this show talking about that, I would have.
Yeah.
Would have been a rough morning for me.
It would have been rough for everybody. But I just would have been insufferable because I love being right. For my wife, she picked it and she's
humble.
She's probably forgotten about it by now. I don't even know. Not even thinking about it, but I don't know. Would that be? Would you feel? How would that hit your ego if somebody you were watching a show with?
I would just assume that they Googled ahead.
You just think they cheated?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I would do. Just because I know that the girls love doing that.
Yeah.
They do. They love Googling ahead. If something happens in the movie, this happened like 2 nights ago. Me and some of my friends watching a movie. She's like, I feel like I know who the killer is. I'm just going to go ahead and Google it. I'm like, I'm going to Google the cast list. I'm like, no. What? Yeah. There's no point of watching the movie then.
Yeah, I hate that.
They don't ruin the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I forced her not to put it on her phone.
Yeah.
It's close.
I don't like... I would have felt so good if I figured it out and it was confirmed. But if I looked it up ahead of time...
Then you feel like you're cheating.
It would have taken so much of that joy away. So, I don't know. But she figured it out, so good for her. And Only Murders coming back for another season, shockingly.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Everybody has been talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce dating, including Travis Kelce himself, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Taylor Swift's, I guess, still rumored boyfriend, right? It's technically
they're not dating.
You don't think? What would you call it?
They're just friends.
What are they doing then?
They're just hanging out.
Okay.
That's what I would call it. She's just supporting the team.
Yeah, she's a big Chiefs fan. She's come out to the last 2 Chiefs games, and it's been widely publicized by many. And Travis Kelce says on the most recent episode of his podcast, he said about the NFL, I think they're overdoing it a little bit for sure, especially my situation. Even Travis Kelce is saying the NFL is doing too much to pump up Taylor Swift and his relationship, or lack thereof, perhaps, if they're not actually dating.
Maybe he feels as if they're ruining his chances.
Now that, I don't know if they're ruining it, but I understand the feeling of a relationship that you start into, and then it feels like right off the bat, there's so much pressure from everybody around you.
Yep.
Because you'll never get anybody else as good as this. You never get anybody else, period. People used to tell me. And so I need to, you hold on. But then all that pressure makes the relationship, cracks may start to form. And so, yeah, I understand why Travis Kelce might want the NFL to dial it back a little bit.
Cool it.
Yeah.
You would say.
Take it easy.
Like when I go back, because in their statement, they talk about how they frequently post, they frequently change their bios, as well as how the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift news has been a real pop cultural movement they've leaned into. This is their Instagram page's story.
The NFL saying.
He also said the vast majority of our content has remained focused on the game, our players, and a variety of other initiatives. But then I look at the NFL's Instagram, right? And they do post a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
During the Chiefs game, they posted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 posts.
Wow.
5 of them were of Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay.
So 5 posts of her in one game. Seems a bit aggressive to me.
That's just a lot of, they're just over posting in general.
Can you imagine if I got like 5 videos of you at a sporting event and posting all of them? That seems a bit aggressive.
That. I would be
like, what could you possibly be doing in those 5 videos that would be worth posting? And most of these for Taylor, she is hugging people, cheering. Seems like every day kind of things.
It's so difficult. Because in one line of thought, you're thinking, yeah, they're just 2 people. They should be, just because they're celebrities doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to kind of have their relationship be their own thing that we don't all get involved in. But also at the same time, if you were dating somebody famous, wouldn't you eat up the attention? If you were dating Taylor Swift, you think you wouldn't want everybody talking about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's positives and negatives to it. Goods and bads.
What did you not know, Travis Kelce, that this was coming?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why he's doing it.
Yeah.
He asked for I don't feel bad for Travis Kelce.
No,
he asked for this attention. So for him to come out now and be like, well, they're kind of overdoing it, nobody has any sorrow for you.
No. I don't even think. Yeah. So I guess who I do feel sorry for are the people that hate Taylor Swift for some reason. That's what my heart aches for. The ones that just
are over it.
Yeah.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Now, Halloween's coming up. Getting into that time of year where you might be busting out a few more scarier movies than normal. Isaiah, you watched any spooky movies lately?
I watched Hubie Halloween 2 nights ago. It was a bit scary.
Oh, yeah?
There's a werewolf in it.
Adam Sandler scared you?
No, he was the one being scared.
Oh, okay. That's a
classic. Yeah, it's a Halloween classic.
That is the word I was looking for. That's what I was trying to find. Here's my question. Well, it was really a question asked in the survey, but I want to know, how old were you when you watched your first scary movie that you remember being scared by?
I believe I was 12.
And what was the movie?
Insidious.
You watched that at 12?
I went to a birthday party. It wasn't my choice. You know me. I don't like scary movies.
Yeah.
Hubie Halloween was about the scariest I can get.
Okay.
I showed up to this birthday party. I believe I was in like 6th grade, 5th grade. Way too scary for me.
Yeah, what kind of kids are watching that?
I don't know. At a birthday party
for when they're 12
there
years
was
old.
always scary movies at birthday parties. Actually, before that, I think I would have been... No, it might have been the same year. I watched at another birthday party the movie Gremlins.
And that scared you?
Of course it scared me. It's a scary movie.
It's not scary.
It was when I was 11.
Fun. That's a fun movie.
It was when I was 11.
I remember when I think about scary movies from growing up, I know the first one that leaps to mind is Beetlejuice, which now I could watch. I wouldn't be scared at all, of course. But
like
as a
Gremlins,
child,
very similar.
I guess, yeah, maybe. So Beetlejuice, I remember being scared by, but I also more so remember being scared by movies that wouldn't be considered scary movies, like in the Indiana Jones where the guy's face melts off when he sees the Ark of the Covenant.
How about Alien vs. Predators? That counts.
That counts as a scary movie. Yeah, or movies like that are more sci-fi scary.
Yeah.
I didn't like in X-Men when the guy sticks his head through the bars of the, he turns into water or whatever, sticks his head through the bar. You remember that part?
I don't think so.
The very first X-Men movie. Like the senator or whatever that gets turned into a mutant. If you have your first scary movie that you remember being freaked out by and how old you were, text it into the show.
Another one of mine might be Holes.
What scared you about Holes?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I know which movie you're talking about.
The voodoo lady. You don't remember her?
Go on more. No, I know who you're talking about. Madam Zero.
Yeah, not Madam Zero.
No.
The other main character's name was Zero, but it was like Madam something.
Yeah.
She freaked me out. She was scary in that movie.
Why was she scary?
She was scary in the. She was like a voodoo
you
girl.
You would carry me up the mountain.
Yeah, exactly. She had that accent.
Why is that
It freaked me out at the time. I'm still.
I guess who can say when you're a child?
She was scary.
Because I'm sure a lot of people now are probably laughing at me for thinking that Beetlejuice was scary. I got another one, but I want to see what other people are saying too. What was the first movie that scared you when you were a kid?
It doesn't have to be a scary movie.
No, not
Any
necessarily.
movie.
It could be Holes. 8772 Radio U.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Some old memories here. The question is, what's the first scary movie? How old were you when you got to watch your first scary movie? And what is the first scary movie that freaked you out when you were a child? I got Trent who texted in. He said he wanted to co-sign with you, Isaiah, that Gremlins was scary. And
it was
also,
scary.
From around the same time frame, Ghostbusters. You remember?
Scary too.
You remember Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I remember Ghostbusters.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is one thing, but it's like the dogs, the devil dogs. They're pretty scary in Ghostbusters. We also have Chad texting in that Pinocchio and Dumbo scared him. He was a kid.
Certain scenes, anyway. He says.
I'm trying to think. What was scary about Pinocchio and Dumbo?
There was scary parts.
In Pinocchio, the kids start turning into mules. That's kind of scary. A little bit, if you're like 4, maybe. Let's see. Stephanie says the original Poltergeist. Now, why were you watching Poltergeist when you were a child?
Yeah, that seems a bit aggressive for me.
She says it was especially scary when the paranormal researcher scratches his face off.
Well, that
sounds horrible.
That sounds like a scary scene.
Sounds like something a child shouldn't see. Emily texted in the movie It with the clown.
Yeah.
And Misery, which is another Stephen King thing as well. Is that the one where James Caan is trapped, tied to the bed, and Kathy Bates breaks his knees and whatever?
I'm seeing after a serious car crash.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rescued former nurse.
Yeah, yet again.
Claims to be his biggest fan. Never seen it.
Why? We don't have ages, but I don't know why you'd watch that if you're under the age of 15.
That sounds scary, too.
Yeah. Jason says Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, he has a good explanation of why he saw this, is he was with his older brothers at a birthday party, and it was just on in the background.
Fair.
But it wasn't the background for him that caught his attention.
It was the main character.
Is this your dad?
He always says this. I don't know why he always says this.
The Wizard of Oz and the Flying Monkeys come out.
He's talked about this many a times to me.
It's still stuck with him
all
this time later.
On the survey, the top childhood villains, one of them was the Wicked Witch of the West at number 4. But oddly enough, the Flying Monkeys didn't make the list.
They didn't make the cut.
But this is clearly traumatic for him when he was a child.
Alex texted in, this is not a movie but a show, which I understand why
this is good.
Courage the Cowardly Dog would upset you as a kid. I get it.
It was scary.
I get it. I'm sure if I thought about it, I could probably think of just as many cartoons that were like TV show cartoons that rubbed me the wrong way when I was a kid. But I also thought of this one too, and I never saw the movie. And without even seeing the movie, I was scared of this. Chucky.
Chucky, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's scary.
That is scary. But I don't even know why I was scared of it when I had never seen the movie. I didn't know what it's about, but I just, like, you go in the mall and you saw Chucky roaming around. I don't know what he was doing, but it scared me.
I like the ones that are like, that have no reason to be scary for you. Like one of mine. How about Jumanji? When they get sucked in the beginning. I
was scared of Jumanji.
Everybody was scared of Jumanji.
Yeah, Jumanji was frightening.
That you get sucked into the game in the beginning, that was scary.
And then he turns into a monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. That is right. I was very afraid of Jumanji when I was a kid. And I was probably older than I should be afraid. Aaron also says, I saw Poltergeist at a Halloween party. Oh, that's the same Aaron. But she says she was 18 and still hated it.
That's about the time that I was a kid. How about this is another movie that freaked me out.
Okay.
What about the Luck of the Irish? Remember that one? It was a basketball movie. It was like a Disney movie.
On the Disney Channel. What scared you about that?
I don't know. That little leprechaun in that movie freaked me out.
That's very niche. I remember liking that movie a lot, actually. His dad, or his grandfather worked at a potato chip company or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good movie.
Nicole says my brother was so scared of the flying monkey. But she also says she agrees that Gremlins was scary. Gremlins was a scary movie.
Maybe I just saw Gremlins when I was old enough to handle it.
Gremlins was a scary movie at the time for me. That freaked me out.
And never again for you?
Never again.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to watch it again here in a couple months. It's one of the Christmas staples for me. Well, hopefully we haven't upset anybody too much today.
Yeah.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. RadioU.
The first scary movie you remember watching and being freaked out by as a kid, and what it's turned into so much is a lot of people saying legitimately scary movies, or these movies that are meant to be scary, and then a lot of people sharing movies that they should have been scared of, and now you look back and you're like, why was I scared of that? Some of the texts coming in, we've got Jen who says she watched Anaconda when she was 7. Her big brother and her friend had it on. They didn't want me to watch it, but she whined and got her way so that she was able to watch it with him, and that was a big mistake. Looks like that'd be a scary one. Emily texted in Jaws, obviously frightening. Bridget agreed with me on Child's Play, which is the movie that has Chucky, the terrifying killing doll, in it. Yeah. Even though, again, I never saw the movie, but Bridget says when she and her siblings had a sleepover at a friend's house, the friend and her brother would toss one of their dolls onto the bed and say, "Here's Chucky," and it freaked her out to add another level to it. Now, this might be my favorite. Abby agrees with both of us on Jumanji being frightening. But she also says the Schmitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen episode of SpongeBob freaked her out.
That's funny.
That's one of my favorite episodes. He was number 1. Switz says Poltergeist when she was really young. Also, Aaron, I think, sums things up pretty well here. She does say Where the Red Fern Grows, which I had to look up. That's a movie. She says they didn't watch much movies in her house at all. The Red Fern Grows is a movie about a kid. I have it here. a kid who listens to his grandfather and saves up to buy 2 raccoon hounds in 1930s Oklahoma. Apparently that was scary to Aaron.
A very well-known book, right?
I've heard of it. I've definitely never read it. But she also says that she saw Poltergeist. Wait, no. She did say she saw Poltergeist at a movie party when she was 19. And the Redford and Gross when she was at a party when she was 5. She says the moral of the story is that we should never watch movies at parties.
Everybody feels more confident at a party.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, yeah, put on a scary movie.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be the baby at the party that's too scared.
That was me every single time.
Yeah. I thought of a few more, too. You got a few more?
Oh, yeah, I have a couple more. I have at least one more.
Okay.
Mine's The Rescuers.
That is...
a scary children's movie.
That's a scary villain.
That is a scary villain.
Yeah.
It was literally a movie, a children's movie, a Disney children's movie about kidnapping a child. That's a wild movie that's meant for kids.
And then
that's frightening.
You're going to let her drown so you can get a gem or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That was a scary concept.
Ridiculous.
For a movie that was meant for children, an animated movie.
And like every movie from the 80s is like that. They're all surprisingly dark. Shouldn't have been meant for... There's people smoking cigarettes and like gambling rings and all. Like what kind of dogs go to heaven.
What kind of a kids movie was that?
Yeah.
They're like, but we're going to have a mouse be the hero, and then that saves it.
Right.
That doesn't save it. It was a scary kids movie.
Kids movies from the 80s are something else. I also had... I didn't watch this movie, but I saw my dad watching it. It scared me. Mars Attacks. You ever seen that?
No.
That's scary, the aliens and that, even though now I'm looking at the trailer, it's not scary at all. Also, if you've ever seen the movie The Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, there's a scene where a guy eats too much and he eats so much that he explodes. And then you see him sitting there with like it's very fake looking, but that scared me. And finally, Fern Gully. Have you seen that one?
No.
Robin Williams is a bat. And it's all about, like, now watching it, it's all about, like, saving the environment or whatever, pollution. And the pollution is like the monster. His name is Hexus.
What a weird movie to be afraid
of. It was scary. It was very scary.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
This is crazy. You know, you could, if you're renting out an Airbnb, something you have to account for, apparently, is the off chance that the person you rent to will never leave. That is what has happened reportedly here in Los Angeles, where back in September of 2021, a woman rented a guest house in the Brentwood area. And she did rent it out long term. It was for a 6-month period, $105 a night. But after that 6 months, which would have come to an end in April of 2022, the woman has continued staying in this house, in this Airbnb, squatting, rent-free, refusing to leave. And so now this is wound up in court where, and what's wild is, not only does this woman just continue on staying here, she also thinks that the Airbnb host should have to pay her to relocate. Tell me how that, I mean, that doesn't even make sense, does it?
Makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense. I don't want to get into all of the complications of whatever this means, whatever the Airbnb contract. Here's what I want to know. You have a guest staying at your house. Maybe you invited them in at first. Yeah, you can stay, you can hang out, couch surf, whatever. But then they don't leave. How do you get them to leave?
Good question. You're talking about just an everyday friend?
Yeah.
I would say
somebody you have a relationship with.
And they're just hanging out at your house for multiple days.
You can't get rid of them.
I would say maybe paying less and less attention to them.
You think so? Act like they're not there.
Yeah, just start going on with your daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, some people won't, but a lot of people will feel like, oh, okay, we're not like hanging out anymore.
Yeah. So don't make it fun for them.
Yeah.
because they might be.
You're not like sitting down with them playing video games. You just start like doing your day-to-day tasks, doing the dishes, vacuuming the house, your regular everyday things.
Yeah.
Usually once people don't do that when they have guests over. You don't like start cleaning the house when you have guests over.
Yeah.
Usually you're hanging out, you're doing fun things like you said. And the more like day-to-day tasks you do, the more likely they are to be like, maybe it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
Or you just let your dog poop inside.
You start acting very irrational. I think that's one of the early steps. I think if somebody's really committed, they can fight through that because they don't care. They just have a free place to stay. They're feeling good about it.
Well, are they like homeless? Like, who is this friend of yours?
It depends.
Who did you let into your house?
It just depends on how long they're staying.
They don't have a place to stay? Is that who you let in your house?
This has happened to me. Yeah, sometimes people, hey, I broke up with my girlfriend. It's not going well. I need a place to crash.
Got it.
And they stick with you, and then one thing leads to another. They're still there, and they've overstayed their welcome.
Got it.
I think at first, you can start just kind of giving them the cold shoulder. I think, but it's notoriously hard to kick people out of your place because, like, you can call the cops and they can be like, "Well, you told them they could," like it's not so easy as you think it might be. And so I think if they get through the cold shoulder thing, you might have to go to the next step, which is be progressively more annoying.
You're going with the no more annoying route.
Yeah, like
Got it.
There's a lot of things you can do that aren't illegal that you can't get sued for that are just annoying to them until you make it miserable for them to be there and they have to find somewhere else.
I also think that if you joke about kicking them out, that's a good one too. Like if they complain about something, like, well, that's crazy. Well, it'd be great if you just got the heck out of my house.
You mean like your parents did to you when you were a kid?
Yeah.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Choice champions. Isaiah and I take turns drafting, snake draft style, a fantasy team from a certain topic. And then you get to decide, you cast your vote, which of us chose a better team, and let us know any we missed that got snubbed. Today's topic, snack cakes. Let this serve as a little reminder to you that on the RadioU RIOT Facebook page and YouTube channel, we recently tried the brand new cookies and cream brownies from Little Debbie. I'm going to go out on a limb, though, and say that's not going to be taken in this draft. I'm not taking them.
Well, now I have a leg up on you.
Yeah. Oh, you got the first pick, so go ahead. Best snack cakes. We can do Little Debbie, Hostess, Tasty Cake, etc., etc. Go for it.
It's so hard at one to decide in which direction you want to go.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good options. It's so preferential. So I'm just going to make sure that I get my favorite, which I don't know if you would have picked anyway. But I'm just going to make sure that I get my favorite so everyone knows my stance on snack cakes. My number one, Swiss rolls.
I knew you would like the Swiss roll.
My favorite.
I knew you would.
So I feel strong with that choice. I'm true to myself.
I, with the number 2 pick, am going to go zebra cakes.
Good choice.
I like the zebra cakes. And I will disclaim that for almost everything that we wind up drafting today, for me, I like it, but I like it even more with milk.
So do I.
I think milk vastly improves these, and zebra cakes particularly. My number 2 pick, I'm going to go a little bit of a crowd pleaser, a little bit of one that I slept on until we did a food fight with these a while ago, and that is ding dongs. Ding dongs are good. They are a good snack cake. And so that's my number 2 pick, the number 3 overall in our snack cake draft.
Good choice. I'm going to follow up Swiss rolls with a similar item. I'm going to go Twinkie.
You're really taking the Twinkie?
I love Twinkies. If I had to rank mine, I would probably go Swiss roll Twinkie. It's my second favorite, probably.
Twinkies have stood the test of time.
I think they're good. I'm a big fan of them.
I just know when I have them that I'm not as satisfied as I wish I was.
When you have the Twinkies?
Yeah.
Another thing that's better with milk.
Mm-hmm.
Final one, and I'm taking this one just for the diversity of it.
Okay, switching it up.
Just the versatility that comes with the honey bun.
Oh, I did have honey bun as one of my backups.
Honey bun for me, the reason that I take it here, it isn't because it's the first one I'm going to grab if I see it, but this can be used as a breakfast. If I go to the gas station and I need something to actually fill me up, a Swiss roll, a Twinkie, no nutritional value.
Yeah.
They're not filling you up in any way. They're just a dessert cake. But a honey bun, you can justify that as, you know what, I'm getting ready to go to work.
It's almost a cinnamon roll.
And I need something in the morning to put a little substance in my belly.
Yeah.
You can go honey bun, and people aren't really going to look at you that weird. If you go Twinkie, people will look at you weird.
Yeah, you should need a Twinkie for breakfast. My final choice, I'm going to go, and this is tough, trying to whittle it down to which one I want to add to my team. I'm going to go with, similar to you, I'm going to take a coffee cake.
A coffee cake?
I like getting the coffee cakes because that also feels like an appropriate breakfast. And that one maybe less with milk and more with coffee. So here we have my team. I had the second pick, but I went zebra cakes, ding dongs, and coffee cake. Isaiah, you had the first pick, and you went
Swiss rolls, Twinkies, honey buns, and I know that the texts are going to come in already. There wasn't a world where, and Suzanne already texted it in, there wasn't a world where I was picking oatmeal cream pie.
No, those are last case scenario.
Suzanne says whoever picks oatmeal cream pie wins. Unfortunately, not for me.
Guess we both lose. 8772 Radio U. Let us know who had the better team and which ones we missed in Choice Champions.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Choice Champions snack cake draft. Counting up all the votes. Isaiah had the first pick. Your team is
Swiss rolls, Twinkies, and honey buns.
And I went with zebra cakes, ding dongs, and coffee cakes. And the votes are coming in. Kendrick says, my mouth feels weird just thinking about eating a honey bun, so Hudson wins. Plus, ding dongs are the best. Good call on that. Regina says, morning, y'all. Not much of a snack cake person, but I love a good coffee cake, so I'm going with that one. That's a vote for me. D says Isaiah, and she would go with the original Tasty Cakes, oatmeal cream pies, and Star Crunch. I never even considered Star Crunch.
I considered Star Crunch. I used to love Star Crunches.
I've never been into the Star Crunch, so D's squarely on your side. Rob says, Isaiah lost me at Twinkies and Hudson won me over with coffee cake. People love the coffee cake.
What an odd little choice.
It's so good. Nobody hates coffee cake.
Yeah, but does that feel like a treat?
Does a honey bun feel like a treat?
I said honey bun for nutritional value.
Rachel says the only thing she heard was Swiss rolls. She's voting for whoever picked Swiss rolls, which was you.
Me. Okay. You're on the right side, Rachel.
Justin says, even though Hudson rigs the vote every time, I do like his picks a little bit better. And also, he says we left off Christmas tree cakes, although he acknowledges they're basically the same as zebra cakes.
I was going to take Christmas tree cakes just to undercut your zebra cake.
The Christmas tree cakes technically actually might be better because they have the little sprinkles.
I think they are better.
Yeah.
I thought about taking them. They were on my list here, but I didn't end up undercutting you on that one. And then I let you have the zebra cakes.
We have a couple people that are upset. Susanna, you acknowledged she wanted us to pick oatmeal cream pies. We didn't. She also lost a bit of respect for you because you say the honey bun has nutritional value.
Hey, 3 grams of protein.
She also voted for me because I picked zebra cakes.
Zebra cakes are good.
And finally, Jonathan says, all of them are ick. No winners today. We're all losers. And I texted him back. I said, Jonathan, what would you choose then? And he just says he's rejecting this whole thing, apparently. He doesn't like a single snack cake. Jonathan's voting against the topic altogether.
Well, if you guys want to let us know what you want us to do, you just text it in 8772 Radio U, Choice Champions.
Vote for Choice Champions topics for the future, but clearly today, and it wasn't even close, I won in a landslide. I'll tell you why, is because you picked some good choices, but they're more polarizing. I picked something, nobody hates zebra cakes. Nobody hates coffee cake.
Coffee cake was a wild choice.
It clearly won me today's Choice Champions.
Yeah, for me, I never even considered, I would never go into the gas station and be like, you know what? The coffee cake.
Oh, I've done that many times. Lastly, any more that you left off that were close calls besides Star Crunch?
I thought about the cupcakes. I thought about the Little Debbie cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
The cupcakes are good. I think they're a little bit slept on. I also almost went muffins, Little Debbie bites. I thought about doing the muffins because I am a fan of those.
A treat at all.
I think they feel like a treat. I like those. I've had those many a times before for breakfast. I feel like they're pretty solid. The blueberry muffins are my fave.
I considered the strawberry shortcake cream rolls from Little Debbie. Those are very fun, especially you put them in the fridge for a while. Also, tasty cakes, the candy cakes and their crimpets. The candy cakes are like a cake with peanut butter on top and then covered in chocolate. Real good. Could have made the list.
Well, that's choice champions.
I didn't even need them because I won with what I did pick.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
He is saying that he believes colleges need to start teaching what he calls mating dynamics. That sounds a little frightening based off of the name.
Sounds a bit scary.
It does. But what he's saying is that particularly for young men, college age, that we need to learn the skills of how to approach women.
Everybody's trying to sell a course on this anyway, on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, I can be your approaching woman coach.
Your love guru.
Let me give you some lines.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not the lines. This guy says, this is the quote from him, approaching women and making them feel safe is a skill. And according to him, the continual rise of porn and how easy it is to access, along with, he also mentions AI sex bots and just, there's a lot of things.
A lot of competition, apparently. He thinks so. I mean, Scott, I don't know if I want you to teach me already.
Yeah.
From where your head's at, I don't know if Scott wants Scott teaching me the ropes.
What he's saying is,
it sounds as if he might have a skewed view.
More and more, it is easier for guys to enter into low entry, low risk relationships. And those actual relationships, though, they don't give you much in return. It's one of those, they temporarily satisfy you type things, but they don't set you up for success in life. You're not getting anything out of them. And it leads to loneliness and depression. So what he's saying is he's just an advocate for, in general, getting out, meeting people in real life, not bed rotting, essentially. But he says it's kind of a lost art that people are, especially guys, are losing the ability to form relationships with people, particularly women. And it's very detrimental to our society. And he thinks colleges need to start teaching. If somebody's got to do it. And so since he's, I guess, a New York University professor, might as well be college. Start teaching guys how to approach women.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
You think that's a bad idea? Why do you say that?
Because imagine sitting down in a classroom where there's a however old man telling you about approaching women. I mean, it's just like, I think it's a wild concept. In what world do you know what the heck you're talking about?
Well, how do you know it's going to be an old man?
I'm not saying it's going to be an old man. I'm just saying there's no perfect way to do it. There's no way that's like across the board, like this is how you approach women.
Do you agree that guys are getting worse at it?
I don't think so. I think some people are bad at it, but I've seen people in action do a fantastic job.
I know that there's some people that naturally are good at it. Some people that are taught. I think this is such a cop-out in a way. I always feel this, but saying that parents need to teach, like your dad needs to get in there and start teaching you a little bit. Is one of the things. I don't know
what is the teach though. I think it's a game of figuring out what your thing is. Because what's going to work for me is never going to work for someone else. And what's going to work for someone else is never going to work for me. And so I think it's a trial and error. I think you have to go out there and you just got to do it.
But I think what he's saying is that there's not a lot of trial going on anymore.
People aren't introducing themselves to one another.
Yeah. I think that's the idea. So,
but as you taking this class, is that going to give you the opportunity to approach more people?
I think it's going to
maybe instill confidence in some.
Instill confidence and just, again, encourage people to try to start relationships in a more healthy way Just get out there and do something and do the trial and error, if nothing else, as opposed to just sitting at home and maybe just swiping all day long. Or
you know what I would say instead? I would say at the age of like 9 years old, you start going to Wendy's and you start ordering for yourself.
Yeah.
You start answering the home phone when it's called.
Yeah.
And that's how you truly.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. That's just that's day-to-day social skills.
I'm with you, but see, this is why it's a problem.
Children to order their own food and force them to answer the phone at home and force them to talk to people when you have to introduce them to them at a young age.
I like all of that. I think Scott Galloway from NYU would agree.
I don't want Scott teaching me a thing.
Why?
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
This is huge news. If you've ever wanted to go to Disney World, Disneyland, but just thought it's way too expensive, get this. Disneyland is now offering a cheaper ticket. They've lowered the price.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
You know what? Everything's been being raised. Netflix.
So much doom and gloom.
Disney Plus. Grapes.
It's all gone
Cherries.
up. Everything from Netflix to grapes has gone up in price. But Disneyland doing their part to ease the burden of inflation. Disneyland will start offering a cheaper ticket beginning on October 24th, but only valid for children.
Where do I come into this?
Only valid for children aged 3 to 9.
Oh, no, that's who's going, though.
Yeah, but they can't go on as many rides, right? Right?
I guess
not. Too short. They can't go on Space Mountain, perhaps.
But that's who it's about.
Yeah, that's
the
what Disney
3 to
is
9
for.
year olds. It's not about us.
They say that the ticket will be valid for use between January 8th and March 10th of next year. You could get it as low as $50 a day.
That's not bad at all.
But January.
Wait, you said January to what?
January 8th through March 10th.
Oh, it's freezing cold outside.
Yeah, well, it's Disneyland.
I guess it's in Florida, right?
It's this is Disneyland, California. But this is during the school year.
Still not warm, though.
No, it's tough to take a vacation at that time, probably. But, I mean, if you're going to go somewhere, you want to go to California in the summertime or in the wintertime, escape to Disneyland, the nice weather. But I don't know how they are going to validate. Do you have to what do you have to give to Disney for them to know that you're 9 years old?
No, everybody has an Identikid, right? I used to have one for every year.
What's that?
Oh, an Identikid?
Yeah.
It's like a young child's ID.
And you have to give that to Disneyland?
I don't know how you prove it. It would be a way.
Because if I'm too old now, but how old could you be where you could still fake it that you were 9? Your parents
you got to prove it if you're getting a discount.
Your parents would want you to fake it.
Yeah, you got to prove it if you're getting a discount. I'm going to need to see a birth certificate.
Yeah, it's Disney. They're doing some kind of, you got to have some proof.
They're taking this serious.
This isn't just sneaking into the carnival or something. This is real. Disney's not going to just let you get away with it. But I guess it's nice that they're offering a cheaper ticket for somebody.
You know what you should do? This is what I would do.
What's that?
If I was married and had children between the ages of 3 and 9, if let's say I have 2 of them, maybe I have a 6 and 7 year old, right?
Okay.
I would say maybe both of them, that's $50 a piece.
And
then we get a one parent deal.
Where just one parent goes in.
Maybe mom goes and I hang out by the beach.
Why not just send the 2 kids off
by themselves?
Yeah, in Disney World.
It seems like a safe place.
Think about how much money you'd save that way.
That's a
You're right. It does seem like a safe place. How could they possibly
get? It should be.
Yeah, you would think so.
But it's not.
It's so safe they don't even let adults dress up as Disney characters because they want to make sure it's safe and nobody gets fooled. So I think that's how you save money.
You send both the kids in, and then just one parent.
Yeah, probably be more enjoyable for the parents too.
Because then it would just be you taking care of the children. You wouldn't have to worry about me messing things up. I know that if I went in there, I'd just be messing things up. I'd be an issue.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.